3.
Hi, today I'm going to be doing my informative speech about the struggles that ranchers and farmers are facing in today's times. My goal of this speech is to inform you about all the struggles that they're facing through 3 main points. The points of economic changes, climate changes, and the change of social. So with that being said, have you ever thought about where your food comes from? Does it come from the grocery store? Does someone provide it for you? Have you ever thought about that? Obviously, the farmers and ranchers provide that for everyone to be able to eat, not the grocery store, like most people probably think it is. And with that being said, we're going to be talking about different things. So with climate change, we can't really avoid that because Mother Nature is just going to do whatever. Along with social changes, as the world moves on, we have different social changes, different technologies that happen to influence us a different way or different routes in our lives. Along with our economic changes are constantly being raised, and all the economic for anything is being raised right now. So we're going to go into our first topic. So the first major struggle is for farmers and ranchers is their economic changes. So for farmers, they have a very big problem with their fuel and their fertilizer. So for the fuel process, it's outrageous for everyone right now, but they also use diesel, so it's even more expensive. And so in order to do their equipment for everything, they need the fuel to do their work for the crops and different things. And so that's a major issue. And then their fertilizer for all their crops is very expensive and outrageous, so many people cannot afford that this year, and it continues to go up every year. And so that's a very big concern economically wise for farmers. And then for ranchers, their economic state is obviously fuel, like everything else, because all their equipment is very expensive, and equipment constantly becomes more expensive due to technology. Along with profit. So cattle has a really hard time, like ranchers with their cattle has a hard time with profit because of all the prices increasing. So when they sell it, they're not going to get as much or little to none, and that's a major issue with them right now. And then, according to corporate power from understanding the economic crisis family farms are facing, states for farmers growing crops for biofuels or cotton and other fibers, sharp reductions in demand for fuel and clothing tank in prices for their goods, leaving business plans. Rising unemployment rates and tightening household budgets continue to constrict food consumption and the prices farmers receive. And so, with that being said, the farmers are having a major issue with their prices and being able to provide for their family and do things like that. And so that's a major issue to be able to provide for your family and do things. And so although this is an issue, the next issue is our climate change. So obviously climate changes cannot be prevented, and we really can't help what our climate changes are. But farmers and ranchers are having a major issue with that because there's either too much rain or there's a big drought. And so that's a really big problem. And so the drought can cause the crops to be not grown enough and not be able to grow enough because they don't have any water to grow. And then the grass can't grow in order for the ranchers to be able to provide the cows or provide hay for them. And if you have too much, you can't cut hay when there's too much rain. And then if it's too wet, you can't help that. And also for crops, it can just wipe them out. And so then you don't have a crop if there's too much rain. According to MFS, agriculture states as of March 8, 2022, drought conditions are most severe in states of Texas, Oklahoma, Oregon, Nevada, Utah, Montana, and New Mexico. According to the USDM on March 8, 2022, more than 20% of land in western states is classified as experiencing extreme drought. And so with that being said, this year we had many droughts, and that caused many crops not to be able to get done, or hay to be rotted for cows and different things. So with climate changes being a major issue, we also have a struggle with social changes. So with social changes, obviously it's going to change all the time. Social changes change literally every day, every second. And so for farmers, their major issue is the chemicals on their crops. So for an example, if you're growing a crop and you want to keep insects off, you use pesticide. And if you don't, then they will eat the crop, and then you won't have any crop to yield. And so that's a major issue. And then for ranchers, people just don't have the knowledge of where their meat comes from. And so that's the major issue with them. If people understood where it came from, they would appreciate the farmers and the ranchers more often. According to the USDA, ERS states the looming food crisis, economic insecurity in the United States, ongoing closures of food facilities and local businesses due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So obviously with the COVID-19, we had many crises and many people had to go out of business. And so for ranchers and farmers, they had a major issue with that and not be able to provide food for everyone. And so in conclusion, with all these major issues, farmers and ranchers just wish that everyone would get the knowledge to understand what they're going through and that they're doing the best that they can do for everyone, and understand that economic changes, social changes, and the climate changes are major issues and how to help them. With all that being said, I'm going to be showing you my audience now. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's 5 on the thing. Thank you.